Just talk about your time.
I could go high to low.
Welcome back, Eagle Nation. We're here at Southwest Christian for a really special segment. Alongside me is Texas High School legend, Coach Steve Wood. Going to talk a lot about, the background. You kind of left Aledo. You built a dynasty over there, and a lot of people have some questions about you coming to Southwest Christian. We're super excited to get to know you a little bit, not only as a person, but a coach and also a leader here moving forward. A little bit of background: 11 state championships, 3 with you as the head coach, 75-4 record. A lot of people know that, but I want to get to know you a little bit personally. So, Coach, first off, welcome to Eagle Nation. We're so excited to have you. Just welcome here. How does it feel to officially be a Southwest Christian Eagle?
It's exciting, it's fun, and a little nervous in all honesty because I'm learning the ropes here. It's a little different round than I'm used to, but we've had a lot of fun so far.
And we're excited to see it, and so we're excited to have you at Southwest Christian, right? There's been a lot of murmur, we've seen a couple of articles and everything like that. You look at the Southwest Christian football team, and a lot of people are asking, why SCS? Why come back? You've already done so much for the sport. What caused you to kind of get back into football, get back on the sidelines?
Yeah, that's a good question. I wasn't really looking, necessarily to do it, but was approached, and I helped this year at Mineral Wells, and I had a lot of fun, and really I realized kind of how much I missed it. And you do that for so long, it's kind of gets in your blood a little bit, and then you go and you just shut it off, and it's like, well, what am I going to do now? And I have some hobbies and things that I do, but they didn't fulfill that need that I have, because I don't know, coaching is unique in that the preparation for a season, the time you spend with coaches, the time you spend with the athletes, the competition and the butterflies that you get, and we obviously can't play anymore, and so it's the next best thing, and it's I'm excited about it. We'll see. I don't know how long it's going to last, but we're gonna put our own nose down and go to work.
Go to work. It's the only way to do it. It's the only way to do it. So when you stepped away from Aledo back in 2023, you did some stuff in Mineral Wells, but do you ever imagine yourself getting back on the sidelines and being a head coach again?
No, not really. No, it wasn't something, we play golf. I'm talking about my wife and I. We have a new granddaughter that is just unbelievable, and we were considering moving closer to them down around Austin. We hunt. We have a place in Colorado. So we had a lot of things going on. And so, no, I really didn't. And, but once the wheels kind of got turning on this deal, and, your old, the excitement level goes up, and you start doing some research and thinking, well, maybe this will be okay, and so, it's been good. Everybody's just super friendly and helpful around here, and the kids are excited, and so, I don't know, we're going to go get after it.
You talk about those conversations. How did those conversations start between you and Southwest Christian? How did that all begin? And was there anybody in particular that kind of sealed the deal a little bit for you?
Well, actually, one of my ex-players kind of got the ball rolling on the whole deal with a couple of board members. And then Coach Howard, the athletic director, reached out, and we went and had lunch. And, we got along pretty good. And, it just that's kind of where it started, if that makes sense. And there's just, I don't know, there's a family here. I think that from years past even to now, I think that there's a close-knit group of people that are involved in this school that for whatever reason, for however long, that some reached out and they made it enticing, they just made it sound like a place that was interesting.
Well, and when you accepted this job, right? Whenever it got official, whenever you became the head coach of Southwest Christian, what was the first phone call that you made?
Well, I had some friends that thought there was something going on, but it was kind of on the down low, and you weren't supposed to talk about it, and So you don't like keeping secrets. So yeah, I filled a lot of those in. I called my children, to let them know, hey, looks like this is going to happen. And so, no, I think everybody thought that was all over with. And, we moved on to the next chapter. And then some friends and some coaching friends. There were a lot of phone calls. My phone's, it's been blowing up quite a bit, as you can imagine, But it's all good. A lot of congratulations. And, some... Are you crazy? What are you doing? And, everybody's got an opinion in this kind of deal. But, some people just don't handle retirement real well. So, and, man, these kids, just the little bit I've been around them, they're super kids and they're eager. And parents are hungry and, they want success. And I don't know. I've never been in the private school business. And so I'm learning. There's a lot to learn. Because there's a lot different. Yep.
And you talk about wanting that success, and we're going to brag on you here a little bit. Again, 11 state titles you're a part of, 3 as the head coach. You've been a part of those championship teams. What is that common thread that has been woven in those championship teams?
Well, I'm not sure if it was 11. I'd have to do the math on all of that because I got out and they won a state championship after that, and they won one before I went to work there. But regardless, we always had good teams in Aledo, but we weren't really the elite kind of team. And we had a class that was coming up that we knew was going to be really, really special. And then we hired an offensive line coach that had a son that was just a really good quarterback. And he also had 2 other sons that were really good quarterbacks. And they won 7 state championships at quarterback. And so that made it real good. And then there's a young man named Jonathan Gray that came and played for us that, he helped us get over that hump as well. But, the town itself was always, I call it a one-horse town, one school, everybody's pulling in the same direction. It's not this, there's this school, this school, this school. And we had some good, tough kids that would work hard and very coachable. Great coaching staff. Everybody, the support level was really high. The facilities were unbelievable. And I've told people this, but it was almost like just the perfect storm. And Coach McKinnon built all that. Let's don't mistake that. I mean, he got there and won his first state championship in '98, and then we didn't win again until 2009. But they were all. I mean, you have great athletes if you go do that. That's the one thread that's common. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we coached them and we coached them up, and I think that we did a good job of coaching and all that. But I mean, we had some guys. So let's make that clear. And I've told everybody that always. As far as the interview and okay, Coach Wood. There's some really good football players that made all of that happen. And so I'm not naive enough to think that I don't have a magic wand or, I can't. I've coached in places where, my motto my first year was more than 1 in 81. That was the first year I coached, and we didn't achieve our goal. So I've been on the complete other end of the spectrum, So, yeah.
You talked about Coach Buchanan. You read articles, and he says that your faith, combined with your coaching ability, is what makes you a perfect fit here at Southwest Christian. How has your faith shown up in a way in your coaching life, but as well as just in daily life, in your day-to-day?
Yeah, well, I think that, I've been in the public school business, and the whole showing your faith and is different. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's not a lot of prayer that goes on. There's, we started FCA and we had FCA, and we had a very, we had a faithful bunch of kids all the time. We started a coaches outreach program. But I think in living your faith is, I think that people see that in a day in and day out basis, just in the way you treat people, and the way that your expectations are. And I don't know. I think that for me personally, I have to rely on God for my strength weekly and daily, and pray that I'm able to lead in a way that is suitable to my Savior, and so I'm dealing with people's most prized possession. You're talking about their children, and so I lead them and try to lead them in a way that I would want my child led, and so that's the way I see things in a simple form, without getting too deep into my faith, I suppose.
And it's funny that you talk about that, because you hear your previous players talk. It's a lot about you're a great coach in the football realm, but you coach at life. What is that kind of like when people say, "Hey, you're a really good coach at life"? Like you're coach, these young guys through life, not just inside football. What does that kind of mean to you?
Well, I think football's the ultimate team sport. Now, everybody can argue their point. And I love sports, all sports, believe me. I'm a geek. There's so many things that parallel life on down the line that happen in football that I think that you can relate to kids so good that way, because number one, they're on a team. And anytime you're on a team, you're dealing with all kinds of individuals, and there's going to be guys that live in big houses and small houses, that are white, brown, black, as far as the skin color. That have money, don't have money, drive a car, never will, don't own a car, like rap music, like classical music, whatever it might be, that there's so many differences. But the key is, once you walk out there on the field, you cross those lines, everybody's the same. And so you're on a team, and you develop that, where you learn how to work with people that maybe they're not your kind of people. Maybe you're not ever going to hang out with, but that's what life is, and that's what work is. And you'll have a job someday where maybe you don't agree with somebody, be it a boss or a co-worker, but they're on your team, and so you deal with it. And so, and then dealing with adversity, which is why we're put here on this earth in a way. And you think about adversity, and you think about somebody going and delivering their son to go die for you, and dealing with that adversity so that you can go be forgiven and go live an eternity in heaven, and so that's dealing with adversity. And that's what life is about, suffering and how you deal with suffering. And we're all going to deal with hardships in life, and football parallels that like no other. And so, and learning to play for the person beside you as opposed to yourself, and being unselfish. And I think football's such an unselfish, it's a, you talk about an offensive lineman in football. Who else in sport plays a sport that they're going to be the first ones to work, the last ones to leave? They're going to study more video. They're going to be in a 5-second fight every snap of the game. They never touch the ball. They will never score. They will never hear their name called out on the PA. Probably won't be in a podcast or on a clipping, but the success of your team hinges on them and their success. And I'm talking about offensive linemen, and it's the most selfless spot in all of sport. And so, I love it, and I love everything about it. I love the grind of it. I love the highs and the lows. Obviously I like the highs a little more, but sometimes you learn you figure out that, I don't know, maybe you don't enjoy the highs as much as the lows tear at your soul, a little bit. But I like that, and I love that for young kids. And I love to see young freshmen that I used to make them take their shirts off and take pictures of them when they're 9th graders, and then do it when they're 12th graders, and just watch their physical growth and development, and after a off season and lifting and good nutrition, and just watch not only grow physically, but grow, just emotionally and mentally and spiritually, and just grow through the years. And then again, that's somebody's child, and they have parents, and I have children, and you want to treat them just like you want somebody to treat your child. So that's kind of the attitude I try to take. Maybe I'm not always good at it, but I work at it.
I love how you can tell how involved and how much care and love that you have for your athletes. If I were to ask a Southwest Christian athlete right now, a football player, 3 years from now, ask one of those players, wait, what is a common phrase that you hear in that locker room? What do you hope that they tell me a few years, once you've been coaching?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I have a lot of phrases, but they're kind of off the cuff kind of deals, But I would think that, playing for each other. They're not playing for me. They're playing for the guy to the right and the left and in front and behind them. Our next game should be our best game because it's the next game. And I don't know. I'm not sure about just little quotes or anything like that, if that's what your question was. But, you try to be better when I leave today than I was when I got here. And that's what you ask out of them, to improve, be it just some minute percent. Just let's be better when we walked off the field than we were when we got here. And we control that, So I think also that as far as what you do control the things you can control, and you control your attitude, and you control your how hard you work. We don't control how tall we are or the color of our skin. That's really out of our control. But there are some things that are definitely in our control, and let's control those.
If you go back and if you could go back and look, when you're 25 years old and you could look at where you are now as a coach, what do you think would surprise that 25-year-old?
Thank you so much.
Well,
Brody, for getting that set up.
Probably as a 25-year-old, how white this hair is. That I'm
It is a great
close
time
to 70
say,
years old, and
you
I'm
know
still
what?
coaching
I
high
think
school kids.
I think I'm all right when I go home. So, if you want to take any work home
I
with
don't
you,
know.
or just
I'm
enjoy
a
your
grandfather.
evening and make sure that you are
Proud
getting all of
father.
your tasks finished tomorrow and Friday, then you are more than welcome to do so.
That's a
Y'all
good
are
question.
dismissed to
I don't know.
go
I
and
mean,
do your
I
life
always
and
had
enjoy
high
the rest
expectations.
of your afternoon. Bye.
And when I was 25, I did, and I still do. So, I'd like to think I gave them my best shot, brought my A game when I was 25, and that's my goal right now,
You talk about being a proud father, grandfather. When you finally ended up hanging it up for good, you feel like you're done coaching, whatever point that is, what do you feel like you want your kids and your grandkids to know why you poured so much into this sport, years and years coming back into it? Why did you pour so much into this game?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, and it's not for everyone. And you're never going to get rich. I'm not going to be coaching in college or in the NFL or anything like that. And I think you develop you sit back and you think about who has the opportunity to affect as many people. I don't know. Who does? You'd have to think about that pretty hard, and there's some kids that we spend more time with than they do with their families, and so you have a pretty good audience, and they're young and they're influenceable, and so I don't know. That's pretty exciting stuff to me. Now everybody's different. I get it, and some people think I'm nuts, but. I don't know. I can't imagine having done anything else. And, I feel like that for me, that I need a challenge, that I need something man, you got to get your tail out of bed. You got to get it out at 5 a.m. because you got an hour drive over there. And thinking about your day and what you need to take care of and all the things that you need to do. And so, everybody needs something to push them. I guess people call it their why. I don't know, but that's kind of where I am with it.
I love it, Coach. Well, I really appreciate your time. Everyone was so excited to that, about you coming in and just the person you are, the leader that you are. And one last thing that I always love doing, I always finish my interview with this, is can we know a fun fact about you? One that, is not very surface level. I want to get a little deeper here. You got a fun fact that you can share for us here before we end it today.
Man, you put me on the spot.
I did. I know. I love surprise. I love getting real answers, Coach. I love getting real answers.
A fun fact. Well, I'm going to go. Fun fact for me, is I'm going to go see my granddaughter Charlie, and I'm a pawpaw. That's my name.
Pawpaw. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, that's fun. That's about as fun as it gets for me. I mean, you can't, until you have children and then have grandchildren, then you haven't lived. I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. Nothing like it. It makes you feel things that you never know you can feel.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, Coach, again, thank you so much for your time. We're excited to see you get to where you can hear it. I can hear it in your voice, talking before this. You're just excited to get on the field, get to work. We're super excited to see it. Eagle Nation, be sure to go out there and support Coach Wood next year. We're super excited to see it all come into action. Again, some Nico Sharp, Coach Wood here, Eagles Nation. Be sure to follow all the social media accounts, all the Instagram, Facebook, Twitter for all the up-to-date news. This has been Nico Sharp, Coach Wood. We'll see you guys next time.